Are you finding it hard to lose weight even though you think you're doing the right things with diet and exercise? Are you someone who tends to get stressed a lot, maybe emotionally distressed, or maybe just rushing through your day a lot because there's so many things to get done, like we all get so busy all the time? Well, there's this one piece of crucial information that you may be missing that may help you move the needle. I'm Katharina. I'm a registered dance movement therapist and a registered clinical counselor here in beautiful Australia. Quick disclaimer, if you are concerned for your health or if you are showing signs and symptoms of an eating disorder, I urge you to seek medical advice from your trusted medical professionals. Let's look at the workings of the nervous system and why this may be key to why you're not hitting those fat loss and those weight loss goals. And let's look at how we can remove those roadblocks for you. So, you probably know that there's a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system helps us mobilize us every day to get out of bed, to get going with our day. It also helps us to put us into flight or fight mode when we're faced with a real life threat. So as a trauma counselor, I work with clients who have experienced trauma. They access fight and flight mode when they were faced with a real life threat or something that came quite close to it, so such as abuse. And so what happens when you're going into a fight or flight mode is that your whole body entirely mobilizes to get ready to attack the threat, so to go into fight, or to run from it, to go into flight. What happens is that your body shuts down anything or minimizes any other functions in the body that it doesn't need for immediate survival. Now, you might wonder, what does this have to do with weight loss? Well, the exact same thing happens when our body perceives that you're stressed. So that could be emotional stress, it could be physical stress, it could be mental distress. Because our body doesn't distinguish, it just notices something's off and there's a perceived threat. So you might think, oh, but I'm not necessarily stressed. And I would argue that in our day and age, our lifestyles are geared towards experiencing chronic stress, especially if we're constantly on the run and go and do. And even if we're not quite like that, we might be emotionally distressed about something, maybe some conflict that's happening at work or some conflict that's happening in your home. And if you're finding this very stressful, you're signaling to your body that you're stressed, and the body will interpret that as a perceived threat and go into fight or flight. It will then minimize your digestive system. It will raise cortisol levels, and that means your fat is more easily stored in the body. And we don't want that. Whether we're on a weight loss journey or not, we don't want our digestive system or any other systems to be compromised. Our digestive system is actually so crucial to our overall health. So what do we do to manage that, to get out of this state or to not be in that state for too long? So we need to look at shifting into a parasympathetic state. This is where our nervous system knows we're safe, and this is where we can digest and especially break down fat. So we really need to look at how can we shift into that? How can we signal to our body that we are safe? Now, Dr. Libby Weaver has coined this phenomenon as the rushing woman syndrome. She's written a book by the same name, and I've included the link to this book in the description box of this video. She's also written other books about stress management and diet, and I've linked some of those books. Now, she talks about how this phenomenon actually affects a lot of other things in our body as well, such as our hormones. She's one of Australia's leading nutritional biochemists, so she's done a lot of research into this. And she says, how can we not send these signals to our nervous system that we are stressed? How can we prevent the stress from happening? For example, on a Monday morning, you go into work and there's a full inbox, and that stresses you out. I can certainly relate to that when I have clients to see, and then there's an inbox full of emails that I wonder, when am I going to have the time to look at that? Well, if you already know, you will potentially be stressed out by that, and there may potentially be a lot of emails in your inbox. To predict that and say, well, if that is the case on a Monday morning, I will put 1, 2, and 3 in place so I can manage that. So either I can, set aside half an hour in the morning to look at those emails, or maybe around lunchtime, or maybe they can wait until the next day. And it's actually a lot about setting boundaries, with yourself and with others, and really taking the urgency out of things, because some things really are not urgent when we think they are. So that could be one way. Dr. Mindy Pelz on here, she talks about how getting up and walking it out when you feel stressed by something can really help. And I can certainly relate. When I go for a walk, especially after work for a half hour, I always feel so calm. I'm wondering what you're taking away from this video today, and what is the one or more stress patterns that, are present for you currently that you're going to start tackling and managing so that you can keep yourself in a parasympathetic state more often and longer. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.